Hey, it's Jessie here, and welcome to the Self-Forgiveness Mindset Work. If you're here, I'm sure you already did the Self-Forgiveness Journal for Money Mistakes, and you probably have a very good idea on what is it that you are working towards forgiving yourself. You probably already have felt like there's a giant weight that is lifted up from you, and you no longer hold yourself accountable for things that had happened. Now, it's really good to keep ourselves accountable for things that we want to do, but in this case, if we are resenting ourselves, it may be more detrimental than it is for that is useful for you. So, which is why I want to dive into the self-forgiveness mindset work and to help you further along in letting go of what you were holding on in the past. So I know for a lot of us who has done some major money mistakes, I have done that too, as you probably know from my story, having made a lot of money and then lost all of it twice, actually more. It's that those are the major ones, but I have a couple of few more times that I didn't do very well as well. And it is so hard on us. I was very, very hard on myself. I wouldn't forgive myself for all the mistakes. And I felt guilty even towards my husband and my friends because I felt like I didn't do very well for them. Like I can't be the person that they can trust. And I put myself in a very high standard too. So you can imagine how much I was beating myself up, and I needed to do the self-forgiveness work, but at that time I didn't understand that it is possible to do this work and let myself off the hook. But because I was beating myself up so much, it actually manifested to a lot of aches and pains, and bad things happened to me. I started attracting more people that really reflect how I feel on the inside. So this cannot be good, right? And of course, then I started doing more inner work is when I start to see the shift. Obviously, I've done the self-forgiveness work, but the mindset does help with prolonging the effect of the self-forgiveness work. So as much as we need the self-forgiveness journal, and how that actually call out that experience, the mindset work is what really put everything in place. What I mean by that is sometimes even after doing the journal work, we may still find ourselves blaming ourselves over what had happened. Some things may still pop up. And so this mindset work will help you to solidify what you have just learned, what you have just forgive yourself for. But more importantly, it will help you to be more self-compassionate, more loving towards yourself, and you're able to get yourself off the ground more easily when the next time you feel like you failed, you feel like you are at the wrong again. So this is so good at, you know, just not just for self-forgiveness work, but it's also for personal growth and healing when it comes to any mistakes at all. So without further ado, let's dive into four simple mindset rules that can help you through the process of self-forgiveness. The first one that I really tell everybody to do, especially if you're an empath, especially if you are a highly sensitive person. We feel a lot, right? So I want you to practice self-compassion as much as you do that for your friends and your family, your spouse, your siblings, your kids, your children, anybody you love so much. I want you to also internalize that to yourself. You got to remind yourself that everyone makes mistakes, right? If your child made a mistakes, it's very natural for us to forgive them, right? And I want you to do the same for yourself as well, because everyone is bound to make mistakes because we need to learn from our mistakes. We need to learn from our failures. It is true, this kind of events, mistakes and failures and challenges is where we learn the most. This is where we learn how to, know what doesn't work and now what works, right? So for a lot of us, if you grew up in a household where money is an issue and we have a lot of limiting beliefs around money, we don't really know how to manage money. We don't really know how to handle our finances and even feel safe with money. So, how do you expect yourself not to make any mistakes, right? So, treat yourself with tons of kindness and understanding, like you would offer to your best friend, your spouse, your child, who are going through a similar situation. So acknowledge the imperfection in yourself and allow yourself lots of opportunity to learn and grow from this experience. Number two is focus on growth, not perfection. I also learned this the hard way, and I've always been such a perfectionist, and I'll have to make sure everything is aligned before I start something. But I've learned over the years that I have to make progression, not perfection. And it is through the progression that I start to manifest more new things or the things that I really want. Because now I'm not that hard on myself, right? And I'm also not dwelling on the little mistakes that I could make if I wasn't perfect. So I got to get used to making mistakes here and there. I got to get used to that all the tech stuff are not properly set up. I mean, I can do so much to only prep myself, right? But I don't know what I don't know. So you got to give yourself some grace to be able to make some mistakes along the way because you want to grow. So a lot of times people get stuck in being afraid of failure that they don't make any progress, that they don't make any growth because they're so focused on the perfection. So take some of this money mistakes events that you've learned in the past and see what are the lessons here for you, right? And use that as a stepping stone towards what you want to create in the future. Because what you want to create in the future starts today. We create it today. Okay, so remember, progress is always more important than perfection, and every step counts, no matter how small. Number three is stay present and mindful. We just talked about that in a coaching call and how we make clear choices, clear decisions, and the intentions that we want to create. Setting the intention because of the life we want to create, because when we are mindful, then we are sure of what we want to bring in and what we want to put out there and what we are intentionally creating in our life as well. So when you're practicing staying present and mindful, you are totally engaged in what is really going on in your mind. So if you are starting to feel like you're resenting yourself, you can be quick to catch it and say, "Ooh, I am starting to say a lot of nasty things to myself and I'm resenting myself because I did stupid things in the past." So now, because you cultivate the mindfulness, you're able to catch that and shift that mindset right away. So you want to avoid dwelling on past mistakes. And when we live too much in the past, we are not really in the present. But when we're in the present, we're not really living in the past. Our mind can only do one thing. So if you allow it to live in the past, we're not living in the present. If we're living in so much in the future, we're also not living in the present. So we don't want either places, right? We want to be here right now because this is the time you have. This is what you have at the moment. So the things that you have experienced, you can't change that anymore. But the things that you want in the future, you can totally create it. So, and it starts with today. And lastly, is to always celebrate your progress. We want to celebrate whatever milestone you make, no matter how big or small, no matter how little that incremental may seem. You want to recognize and acknowledge the effort that you put in to do that inner work. Now, I know it's might be difficult to gauge when we're doing the inner work, but if you start to realize that this, you may go to a certain you may experience the same event, same circumstances, and in the past, you may have said some negative self-talk, that you weren't very nice to yourself, and you're noticing this time you are happier, you're calmer, and you are allowing yourself to have fun. And that is a great indicator that you have made progress towards self-forgiveness and personal growth. So, when you celebrate as well, you are also reinforcing a lot of positive behaviors. You are solidifying the things that you already thought about, the inner work that you're doing, and now you are integrating that into your action. And that really shift the subconscious mind. And so the next time you are in the same situation, or you are in a situation where you used to beat yourself up, you're no longer doing it. So you're continuing that cycle of positive reaction because you celebrate yourself, you gave yourself a reward. Now, that reward may look different for other people. For me, is I always give myself lots of love. I give myself lots of fun time to enjoy with my friends. I will tell someone, or I'll put it on my Facebook group, or I'll share with a friend and say, I just did this and I'm so happy with myself. And and a lot of sometimes I journal too. That gives me the reward that I'm looking for, because I don't seek that from other people. I definitely seek that from myself to validate my experience. So whether that's paying off a debt, or you're setting a budget and you're meeting that budget, and you're trying to recorrect what you have done, what you would like to see change in your life, this is really all worthy of celebration. And you want to celebrate the way you feel very fulfilled from the inside. So I hope this four mindset rules are helping you to see things in different perspective. And the more you affirm yourself, the more you're going to be committed to shift that perspective of I am resenting myself to I love myself so much. I'm willing to fail and learn from this mistake again and again, because I'm just going to get better at this. All right, I hope this has been helpful. Share with me what you learned from this mindset rules. I love to see how much that has shifted your mindset. And you can also download this Google Doc for yourself and keep it as a note, or print it out just for your reference. And this is a really, really good mindset rule that I use personally, and it has helped me. So I hope that works for you too. All right, I'll see you next time in the next video.